What is up, everybody? We are back with another episode of TripleKO, and we are here with Mr. Maximilian and Matt McMuscles.
My name is funny because I don't have muscles. It's funny.
You have muscles. Don't worry. You have muscles everywhere.
They're in your brain.
Oh, brain muscles.
That's not true.
Brain muscles. So, I mean, last week was kind of crazy. I went to Hawaii. Everyone else, did their own thing. Family man's over here. Why was there so much news that came out the week I was gone? Literally,
Justin, you're a content creator now. Like you're getting your feet wet. You're used to it. You will understand. As someone that's been doing this for like 13 years, it always happens this way. As soon as you go on vacation.
It's crazy. Just
like 2 years ago, I was in a family thing at like a cabin, like spending time with nieces and nephews and stuff. E3 is today, not E3, but like, but like the Nintendo Direct was that day and whatever, and I had to get on like a crappy like Wi-Fi signal to like even like see what was happening. But it always happens. Max is right. Content creators curse.
Yes.
Yeah. It was bad because I'm seeing people talking about it, but I refused to watch the trailers until I got home.
Yeah,
right?
And that's
smart,
and
man.
that is the natural promise you have with your chat / your audience. That you'd see all this cool stuff and you're like, well, I just have to delete Twitter now. This is great.
Yeah, it was very tough.
Today's episode is also brought to you by Surfshark VPN, who has been supporting TKO for the last little while now. Justin, what do you use Surfshark VPN for, aside from your little shark guy there?
Too much. I use it for too much. Obviously, when I need to watch like NBA Finals, I love using Surfshark because sometimes I need to keep track. I'm tired of seeing these Twitter clips and I'm missing out the game. But also, It really does help a lot for cheaper flight tickets, especially for the Ryu in me, where I want to travel around the world. Like I'm already planning my next trip to Japan.
You're a world warrior for sure.
I need to pay for my ticket the cheapest way possible so I can save money and buy more anime figures. And the most important part is when you are in a different country, like some of the shows that you need to keep up and you don't want to get spoiled, they might not be in that region, right? Especially Japan. Think about it. Japan, it's the land of anime. And guess what? I cannot watch my anime in English subtitles in Japan. That kills me.
It's a problem.
It's a problem. So what do I need to do? Surfshark VPN, right? That helps out. And that's going to get me to go on Crunchyroll and I get to watch my anime in real time and keep up with the trend and not get spoiled online. So if you do not want to get spoiled when it comes to shows, anime, and keeping up with just everything in general, and also buying cheaper flight tickets, and also obviously the most important part, online security, so you don't get hacked, and you don't want to lose your YouTube channel. We don't want to lose our YouTube channel. Right?
Not really.
Right? Get Surfshark VPN at surfshark.deal/TKO. Enter promo code TKO for 83% off and 3 extra months for free.
Let Justin watch his anime. So yeah, Surfshark VPN, thanks so much for sponsoring today's episode.
But let's talk about it. One thing I would say I'm really excited for before we talk about the mainstream stuff is that PlayStation 1 rollback is officially a thing now. I think that's
incredible.
That's pretty big.
And apparently
so
it's attached
PlayStation 1 games.
It's attached to it was integrated into the DuckStation for Fightcade.
Yeah.
And DuckStation is like the premium, the super premium PS1 emulator.
It's super good. Like I use it, but now we can finally play, Kensai's Sacred Fist and rollback the way it was always meant to.
It was meant to play. I mean, I know you're so excited about it because we always bring up this game somehow, but we might as well bring up your favorite game, Matt. Final Fight Revenge. You can play a rollback now. Let's go.
I mean, that is Saturn. That's not PlayStation.
Yeah, I was about to say it's Saturn. It's Saturn exclusive.
I thought it was on PlayStation.
Unless you're thinking about Criticom, which is my second favorite fighting game.
Okay, you know what?
I would like to see Matt playing Criticom and with rollback.
I want to play one of you in Criticom.
It's like polishing a turd.
Not even. It's like spitting on it even further because it doesn't deserve
It's time to bring back
rollback.
What happened part 2 on Criticon. How does it match up with multiplayer?
I'm not sure if I've talked about this before, but I'll really briefly let me know if this sounds familiar. Max, I do have this theory with lingering pieces of evidence that Criticom started as a Spawn fighting game.
Well, they do run and
bits.
play like ass on PlayStation 1, so the only thing Criticom is missing is Spawn's shoulders occupying 75% of the screen.
Or like the big red boot that he had for a little while, but like there's a little bit of evidence there. Yeah. Just there was some reason like Todd McFarlane like wasn't able to draw a foot that day. There was someone gave me this long-winded explanation as why he had that big one red boot.
Yeah, and then it was his skinny leg on the other side, and then his fat ass like it was a really impromptu cast, like he broke his foot, and he's like, "Oh, this is my Spawn cast."
Having used DuckStation, like this is really exciting because there are a few PlayStation 1 fighting game gems or even multiplayer stuff that would really make use for that because it's been largely these 3D systems. It's been like Fightcade's been slowly getting things, and now it's getting to an exciting like level of games that are being unlocked.
The commitment is insane. Where you have guys that now have integrated anything that's Naomi based, right? With rollback into Fightcade. And that doesn't even stop at like Dreamcast hardware. That continues to like Naomi 2, which essentially is games like Virtua Fighter 4. So Virtua Fighter 4 Evo Final Tuned, whatever that game is called, is playable on Fightcade, and it's fucking amazing. Apparently, I just played the game again with Video Games just recently because we had a PS2 night, and I was like, "Damn, this game is a lot different than VF5, but you can feel the VF5 bones here, like in similar like Tekken 5 to Tekken 6, So I'm like, I kind of want to check this out just because I've never played Virtua Fighter like with really good online,
Ever, especially like something like 4, because 4 was like a real. 3, like we've talked about in our missteps episodes, like kind of like, well, maybe not everything worked here. But when 4 came out, and I don't even think I played that in the arcade, maybe once, but when it came on the PS2, I was like blown away by 4. And it's been since the PS2, like it's been since launch where I just haven't booted up 4 for no reason other than I just forget it exists.
Do you guys remember the hype for VF4 when that shit came out? Like
for the home version,
the home version, like the PS2 version, like all the review sites, not review sites, but I guess sites and magazines at the time, everything was like 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10, greatest fighting game ever, like fuck Tekken. Like it was so much shit like that. It was like so aggressive. It's like, Jesus, okay, I guess I have to check this out. And like my circle of friends that were really into like, Tekken and things of the like, because Tekken 4 kind of disappointed a lot of people around that time frame. It blew up, dude. Like I remember VF4 being such a big deal when it came out, and it sold really well too.
They should have had that. Sega should have put a sticker like that on the front cover. It just says "fuck Tekken" on it.
Right, fuck Tekken, right? We're the real 3D game.
No. Dead or Alive is the one that has the "fuck Tekken" thing on it because Itagaki hates Tekken.
Oh no!
Oh yeah, no. He actually was kind of like respectful of Virtua Fighters. So.
Yeah, he was respectful of Virtua Fighter. Virtua Fighter's respectful of Tekken, but Itagaki hates Tekken. He's like, "It's bullshit game."
It's like this 3-way rivalry, and like I respect you, but you tell him I hate him.
I don't like him.
This is like the Sega versus Nintendo argument of the 90s was DOA versus Virtua Fighter versus Tekken. Which one's the best? Tekken was always
DOA.
Yeah,
absolutely.
There you go.
Yeah, easily.
It's the only hype one.
But I think the greatest part about it is that because PlayStation 1 had so many 3D fighting games made, and now you can play with rollback, it kind of gives that dream come true that Tekken 8 could possibly have that rollback, really good rollback connection. I hope. I really do hope.
Yeah, what games are what game, if we're thinking of PS1 fighting games, what games would be the ones that you guys would be looking forward to the most? My brain immediately goes to Tekken 3 because Tekken 3's console port's amazing. You can play like Tekken Ball with a friend online or some shit.
Bloody Roar 2.
Bloody Roar 2 is a big one. Street Fighter EX Plus Alpha and EX2 are huge because EX2's got a great console port.
Yep.
Damn.
Oh,
Mortal Kombat 4? No,
definitely not. I don't know about that.
You can play it, but I don't know about that one.
You could do MK Trilogy.
Oh,
it's a shitty version because of all the loading and stuff, and I don't know how the PS1 handles it, but MK Trilogy Online would work technically.
Because there was never a trilogy, never got re-released in any form, I don't think.
Only there's a PC version that somebody unearthed like a few months ago. It's on GOG now, and I can't get it to launch.
No, me too.
So
I bought
old.
that.
I bought it. Yeah, I can't get it to launch.
I think it launched for like a second. I saw like the main menu, then it just went away and disappeared off my computer.
Yeah, no more.
It was searching for some Windows operating system from the 90s that just does not exist anymore. So... what else? Bushido Blades are also really sick. Bushido Blade 2.
Fatal Fury Wild Ambition.
Questionable. I remember. Go ahead.
I remember this quote of Max when he's playing Wild Ambition, where it's just really laid back music, like inappropriate fighting game music. It's not a bad track, but it's just so slow. And Max is just silent and goes, well, how come I'm fighting in a faux restaurant? Because it just sounds like that background restaurant music. And the fact that Geese is so overpowered in the end of Wild Ambition is an awesome version of Geese.
You could play, my favorite, not my favorite sarcasm, X-Men Mutant Academy.
Yeah, those games are kind of crazy. Mutant Academy 1 and 2, like they are like the not Marvel versus Capcom games, you know?
Yeah.
It's just that their super systems are so weird.
It is very
bizarre. But other than that, they're not too bad, especially when you start doing wheelie combos with Professor X.
Yeah, him in his chair just
it's just so funny looking too when you see him do his combos. It reminds me of MODOK. Like they need to do a Marvel 3 mod with Xavier and just give him the MODOK skin and call it
That's a good idea. If they get a hold of the palette swap guys, that's a good idea.
Speaking of mods in Marvel, what do you have, Justin?
Oh, the Gambit mod. The Gambit looks so good. It really brings back that like Marvel 1 / like X-Men Street Fighter Gambit style, but obviously with the Marvel 3 twist. So they recently did the Marvel 3 mod for Gambit, and he looks freaking amazing.
Yeah,
he looks getting better and better.
He looks crazy good. So Cali Kings is the one of the latest modders. He's been making characters for a long time. That's like next to Tabs. That was like the guy that's made the most characters, right? So there's a few of them that have been contributing to the scene now, but. Yeah, Cali Kings was the guy that I remember initially got Captain Commando online.
Oh, okay.
And he eventually got to the point where he added the impossible character to Ultimate Marvel 3, the character that everyone said was you can't do it, too many transformations, too many teeth. There's no way you can make this happen. And that was Venom.
Venom, yeah.
And he shot me a video like about a month and a half before Venom was out, and he's like, I did it. And it was like a very early composition of like the transform attacks and stuff like that. And I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I was like, where the hell are you getting these transition animations from? Because for anybody that is unfamiliar how palette swap Ultimate Marvel 3 looks, if you've watched either Justin's channel or my channel or watched me playing the game online, these are not new animations. Everything that you're seeing in Ultimate Marvel 3 that is an animation cannot be imported from another game. They don't have the tools for that yet. They only got the tools like a year and a half, 2 years ago for model importing. So they can get models from other games. So you can get like a Venom model from some other title or some custom model imported into the game. And that took a long time, right? So everything you're seeing is like one frame from this attack on Hagar combined with one frame of Sea Viper's attack, and it just tweens the animation between and creates like Venom Strike, where it's like him turning into the blob and jumping across with teeth and shit. So it's so much fucking effort. It's so much trial and error and time and complete guttural understanding of fucking the way everything looks in the game. It's so impressive. And now Gambit looks like he just belongs in the game.
He does.
So Max, imagine you get a message one day and it just says, I did it. And it's a screenshot of Lin Kurosawa.
I want it, right? There's something that's inherently challenging about Lin is that she only has one game, right? Mm-hmm. She has AVP.
Not a lot to draw from.
And that's the thing, is that it's somewhat tough to create completely new character designs when you have no point of reference. You know, like that will take almost 3 times as long. I would absolutely fucking love it if Lin was in the game and had some Strider moves or something like that.
Yeah,
but
I can see that.
It's tough, man, to create like, what is her gimmick? What is her game plan? What is her combo gimmick? Like, what are all the things that work without having, because Venom, they just took MVCI Venom. Monster Hunter, when Tabs put in Monster Hunter, just use MVCI Monster Hunter and recreated that.
For Lynn, I think she's very Bushinryu style.
Yeah,
so if you look at Maki and Guy, you could probably think of something.
She literally has the light punch target combo that Guy has in AVP.
Yeah, and she kind of has like the kind of flip over move that she sort of does in the air a little bit. Looks a little bit like stuff that Guy would do. So, but yeah, that would be one I would personally like. Oh my god! I mean, I'm as we all know, I'm into Final Fight quite a bit, and the fact that like Cody in Marvel vs. Capcom sounds really cool to me. Yeah, and he's got enough games too. So
his Street Fighter 4 version or whatever.
They'll give him the pipe because our Hagar already has the pipe.
That's true.
The cool part about the modding scene for Marvel right now is I really wanted to push those guys in a direction that hopefully would incentivize it in some way. So a few months ago, I put a bounty of like $5,000 that whoever can make the character selection process work, I'll actually reward with. And that what that translates to is that there's no way to add character slots in Marvel 3 right now. There's no way to actually, there's like 48 characters. Okay, so let's make it 49 or 50 or 51. Add 7 more slots. There's no way to do that. So whenever you were adding in Cyclops, it would essentially replace Sea Viper. Yeah. So you lose a character. You have to like have the model swap, the palette swap version of the roster, or the classic version, or pick and choose. So it never had any uniformity because of it. So. And it's a big one because it's like core engine. How do we add character slots to the game? How do we make that visually look on the character select screen? I wasn't even asking for that. I was just like the functionality of it. The community will figure out the rest. And I've gotten some updates that it's coming along. That incentivization did work and people are working on it. And we're just waiting right now. So it takes some time.
Yeah. I'm trying to see people turn that page on the comic book to see all the characters.
Mario Maker, Capcom should be like, here are all the tools. Here's a brown trench coat. Sure looks like someone could get a good gambit with that.
They were that close to doing that with Mega Man.
For Mega Man Universe. But like Capcom released like create your own fighting game type.
Oh, dude.
Not like PlayStation 1 Fighter Maker, but like
PlayStation an actual 1 Fighter Maker.
Yeah. So that'd be that, maker games like outside of Mario, like one or two others. Well, I mean, unless you count stuff like Minecraft, but like a game where you build a lot of stuff yourself. Yeah, I'd like to see someone do that again with fighting games in like an official capacity, not like Mugen or OpenBOR or anything like that, but just to see if it's possible,
And that's what's happened now. Like the modern day version of Mugen, which was blowing up in the mid 2000s and the mid 2010s. That just it's still blowing up in most places
all the time.
The modern day Mugens are essentially Smash Brothers Ultimate and Ultimate Marvel 3. There is no other fighting game that has a dedicated mod scene that are making the big game changes like those modders are. And it makes perfect sense because they have some of the most passionate communities out there. And more people keep showing up.
It's funny how they're also both crossover fighters in a sense, where it's
they're dream Nintendo come true games.
Yeah. So that makes more sense. It like goes with the theme, I guess. And someone was just telling me, Matt, you need to play the new Mortal Kombat New Era Mugen. they added Ninja Turtles. You got to play. I'm like, I always need a break. Whenever I boot up that select screen, I need to like collect myself for at least a couple of months. So
it's like too much.
Yeah, it's too much. Oh, hey, Justin.
What's up, man? How you doing, Matt?
I'm pretty good. Mac stepped away, and never mind the fact that we're wearing slightly different clothes, because it's time to talk about Manscaped and their new Beard Hedger Pro Kit, which, Justin, you are an expert about the Manscaped, right?
Yeah, if you look at my chin right here,
I see them.
There's these little hairs I need to just get away. I need to shave them. It's just so annoying with just like a regular shaver.
And Justin, if you want to, treat those little microscopic hairs right, you can use the Manscaped Beard Hedger Pro Kit because it comes with the essential beard oil. Sometimes your little hairs can be dry and brittle. Yep. So if you use the beard oil, and it'll add some shimmer and shine to them, and it'll make you look Extra fine.
Extra fine. I get the shiny. Let's go.
You get the shiny little microscopic beard hairs, and you can finish that off with the Beard Balm, which is a pomade. Oh, pomade, very classy. That shapes, styles, and moisturizes those tiny chin hairs and tames for a sculpted look to attract any fellows or dames.
I need to attract all those fellows, man. Not the dames. I already have my dame at home, but I love attracting some fellows already.
Exactly. When you're playing in a tournament, you want to distract your competition, right?
Yeah, I want that little anime thing when people look at me, you see the chin just shine, ching.
Exactly. The Pro Beard Kit also comes with 3 free gifts, which I've been enjoying. There's a beard brush, a comb, and scissors to ensure your beard is ready to impress. You can go to manscaped.com and use our code TKO to get 20% off and free shipping if you opt for the Beard Hedger Pro Kit. That's manscaped.com. Use TKO. Manscaped Beard Hedger, 1 stroke, 1 guard, 20 lengths for all your little microscopic chin hairs.
And give me back my balls. All right, so let's moving forward. Well, we talked about Tekken a lot during the PlayStation 1 rollback, but Tekken released lots of trailers. Lots of trailers.
Yeah, how many?
Wait, Justin, stop. Everyone stop. A new trailer just released right now.
I would not be surprised. Jack's trailer just came out.
Yeah, literally Jack's trailer came out like an hour before we filmed this.
Yeah.
It came out like this morning.
You shut up. I was joking. There's no way. Is that real?
What,
No,
Jack?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Jack's real.
So I just woke up. God damn it. Son of a bitch. You're right.
Watch it while we talk.
Yeah, watch it while we talk.
I have to save it. And once again, I can't watch it because I got to watch it with the chat.
You have to prioritize your chat.
True. We'll talk about King first. Obviously, King was the earliest one before Lars and Jack. But King, I mean,
King's so
they
fucking
went
cool.
hard. They went hard with wrestling on this one for sure.
Yeah.
That's probably more references we've seen to like professional wrestling since literally the previous professional wrestling characters they gave.
Yeah. There's a bunch in there, but there's a couple. I like when King does the pedigree early on in the trailer. And Max is like, "Oh, look at that Randy Orton shit," and his chat's like, "It's Triple H, dude."
He does Randy Orton. He definitely does Randy Orton later in the trailer with the RKO. Which is really nice.
It looked a bit more like a diamond cutter to me, but like tomato. I don't know.
I can feel it. I think it's just more of like they kind of want more maybe modern day wrestling moves because some of these other moves are pretty popular these days.
They get an easy pop as well.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, 100%.
I love King just talking mad shit in a promo, and you like I want a full game like this
just him talking, right?
It's just him growling.
His entire arcade mode should be that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then at the end, it's like it's him with children just going, yes, him at the church with children, yes.
Has he ever said a word? Ever?
I don't think so.
Tekken history.
And
what about growls?
What about the anime? The anime that they show on Netflix? No, just growls.
Yeah, just growls. But people talk about his story around him. Yeah, they're like, "Oh yeah, King raised $1,000 billion for this children's orphanage." Yeah. But now he's getting taken over by he's getting possessed. He had a whole storyline, but he was never able to talk about it. So
yeah.
That would be so funny if he's just talking to everybody. Everyone's like, "Huh? What? Well, you seem angry." Okay, I guess we'll fight. He's just growling noises.
Or it'd be like the Tekken 5 thing where everyone can understand him perfectly, regardless of the language barrier.
Yeah.
They can just tell by his body language. They're like, "What's that, King? Paul's stuck in the well."
Paul's stuck in a well? The goddamn aliens put me down here.
Yeah.
Just Phoenix smashes out of it.
That would be so funny. But yeah, I think King just looks awesome. They obviously show off that he has lots of different new grabs. They even show the one where he's throwing somebody kind of to the ropes, but he's throwing them to the wall, which is pretty cool as well too. So it's definitely a throw heavy King trailer, which makes sense. So it makes me assume that maybe throw breaks are going to be harder to break in Tekken 8, possibly because they did make it easier in Tekken 7.
Yeah, it's with a character that's so focused around it, the thing that might alleviate it, even if it is the same at a Tekken 7, is that they gave King, like, instead of just combo ender throws, like, his big air grab body slam shit that he would do in Tekken 7, he can use it as, like, screw attacks now. Like fill parts of combos,
Yeah.
And that's amazing. If he has different, like, where he can like DDT you or do some crazy diamond cutter thing, and then boink, your body pops up after, and he continues the goddamn combo. That's gonna be sick as shit, dude.
Yeah, like specifically when someone does like a floor bounce and he just grabs them up while they're in the air with like a power bomb. A lot of power bombs, which I'm always a huge fan of. And of course his Rage Art Super, where like Max had to like do a bunch of mathematical equations to figure out what the hell is happening in it. And you're totally right in your assertion that because he was doing it to Paul, and Paul's design is not conservative.
If he just has a red gi on, you could see it better.
Yeah, it made no sense. It was big ultimate muscle, like super move, like where he's just squeezed him in like a pretzel and just slammed him down. The start of it's really hype, but I do agree at first. I'm like, what is he holding him in? Like, that's a weird ass move, but I mean, it was still very King, right? So
yeah, it's very King-like. So I think King's trailer really did pop off. A lot of people loved it, and they
Little Majin especially.
Yeah, Little Majin especially. And then moving forward, they added the Lars trailer, which was really surprising. Lars always was pretty cool. I love Lars in general. He's like kind of like the, he was like the younger version of Jin-ish in terms of like flashy moves.
Yeah, to me, Lars has always been like the flashy Tekken character, the flashy anime character in Tekken. Yep. And one of the reasons why I picked up even Noctis, because he was like the ultimate flashy character. Like everything this character does is fucking wild looking. So it's good to see Lars get some, some comeuppance, because I don't think anyone has talked positively about Lars Alexanderson since Tekken 6. And after Tekken 6 came out, everyone hated Lars because he was godlike in that game.
Yeah, that's true.
Plus, he was a new face that they were trying to push on Tekken 6.
Yeah.
And you always have an uphill battle. Like, Luke is still fighting this battle right now, still. And I think Lars is getting away from that now. I certainly think this is the most impressive trailer. I'm like, he looks pretty cool, but he always seemed like such a not a self-insert, but what do I want to say? Like, they're just pushing him because he's just try hard pushing him. But I'm kind of like, I don't know. Now I'm kind of warming up to him. It just seemed like out of nowhere, Heihachi totally has this illegitimate son that's like from something. And I'm like, I have a secret brother you never knew about, or a secret relative. Like, that stuff always is hard to get that character over, because that's just so like, that's cheap. Like, I have a relative from nowhere.
It's an easy bring in, right? Like, you're
it's
like,
easy bring in.
And he's like a Mishima, right? Technically a Mishima. So they're trying to literally like replace old cast with new cast, because by Tekken 6, Jin was a piece of shithead. So they were trying to like, okay, so we need somebody that's not a piece of shithead. Let's put in this guy who's actually a good guy, a hero character,
But we're gonna give him hair that looks like this, so that defeats the whole purpose, You knew what big energy he gives off? Patrollicus from Soul Calibur 5.
Not that bad. Not that bad.
Okay, not that bad. Yeah.
No, not that bad. But close, but not that bad.
Yeah. Okay. You're right. Thank you for reining me in.
Patrollicus is like, I will murder these innocent people because my bloodline demands it, like some weird shit.
And look at this bobcat on my shoulder. Did you see it?
Did you see it?
Well, one thing they did with Lars, besides obviously make him very flashy, they actually gave him a super from his guest appearance in Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm.
Yeah,
I still don't believe that's real. That didn't happen.
It is.
It
is like the side by side. I was like, nah, that's bullshit. That's not like you anime reach in chat, and then you see a side by side, and Lars does his super from the old game. The Lars that's in Tekken 6 with the old goofy anime Buji no Jutsu costume, and it's the same fucking super. I'm like,
oh no, I mean he was never in a Naruto game. I don't believe that.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
That's not sorry.
That's a choice that we're making.
He's a student. He's Sasuke's student. I mean, just throwing it out there. He learned the Chidori. He uses the Chidori in the Super pretty much. It's there. You have to believe it.
Trying to do a comparison, people telling me that Lars is in a Naruto game is the same as when, Earthworm Jim was in a Toshinden game. I'm like, nope.
That is,
and I don't believe it.
That's there. It's it's there.
Oh, that's there.
It's there. And then we have the Jack trailer, but we won't talk about it too much just because Max hasn't seen it yet.
Just talk about Lars and his cool Back to the Future feat now.
I will say in regards to the Jack trailer, I'm like, I've never been a big Jack fan. Don't hate him or anything. It's just like, hey, he's a big robot. That's about it. But this trailer, even though we've seen bits of gameplay before in previous trailers and reveals and stuff, this full trailer made him look pretty sick, actually.
It's exciting.
Especially his super, which I will watch Max's reaction to later.
Yeah. I'm not going to say the super or anything, but they really went hard with Jack, where he's not kind of like Tekken 7 Jack, where it's just like little pokes here and there, right? Yeah. Just like 4-4-1, down back 1. They didn't even show pretty much any of those really strong neutral moves. They showed off like all new
flashy shit, new shit.
It's amazing. It's a really good trailer.
I think that's really smart because every single trailer we've seen so far, they seem to be hammering home the diversity of the characters more than before. Because it really feels like between Jin getting all these claw attacks and, Kazuya using lasers in regular combo and Nina using guns, they're trying to make Tekken 8 look a lot different than the previous game, aggressively, which is, I mean, no pun intended, which is a good thing to do because Tekken combos and Tekken has looked very similar since Tekken 5. There hasn't been a lot of like game-changing visual differences outside of rage arts, and the majority of rage arts in Tekken 7, especially the vanilla ones, are just like retooled regular moves with a camera angle. So it didn't add that much like, oh, this is the spice we were looking for. Like, not really. They're just armored supers,
Yeah, we've talked about that a little bit before, but I wanted to say also visually, both the Lars, specifically, I don't know why starting from the Lars, but the Lars and the Jack trailers, maybe it's because I just happen to be watching in 4K, but I'm like, now this is really looking good, especially in the screenshots they released of Lars where you see like the close up of Lars's face and the effects in the recent in the Jack trailer. I'm like, wow, now this is really starting to look good. I thought the earlier trailers, they look good, but I don't know what it is, more effects.
It's
looking from a different polished. Builds. It's looking a lot more polished. Like now visually I'm getting really, really impressed with it. And the Kazuya Jin trailer, the one in the rain and the volcano. I remember when we first talked about that, I was kind of not blown away by the graphics that much.
Yeah,
but now with all the shit going off.
Yeah, a lot of people were like, oh, we wanted the game to be this fidelity the whole time. And I was like, that trailer looks good to me, but didn't like... I don't know, maybe it's just me. Maybe I've been seeing different fighting games look certain ways, but like even that trailer didn't even scream that much better looking than a Mortal Kombat 11, Yeah. So I don't know. Like, and even that trailer obviously was like cinematic in many ways, but it was like a story mode thing, which is most likely what it is.
It's because the stage wasn't the Times Square stage.
Yeah, it's true.
Which is still like, that looks like it's from like a Spider-Man open world game.
It does, yeah.
Like, so
speaking of, after Tekken 8, and this game, I don't know how this game, like, I know this Fighting EX Lair, it's been there for quite a long time, but
we have to talk about this.
Arika dropped like a random like YouTube video and the title doesn't even make any sense. It literally just has a date 2023-03-22. It's like something you just upload, right? And you forgot to title it and he just released it like that, right? So that's pretty much what it is.
That was their marketing plan.
That's funny.
But it's a new version of Fighting EX Lair that has sidestep. The stages are obviously more Tekken-ish. So I don't know if this is like an actual update to the existing Fighting EX Lair or a test for Tekken 8. I don't know. It's confusing.
Justin drops the link to this trailer in our Discord chat, and I'm looking at it, and he's like, "What does Justin want from me? I don't know what this is. I don't know what it is." And I'm looking at it. I'm like, "This is a new stage. I don't remember this. Is it a new stage?" I don't remember that fight.
Yeah, the snow stage was not in EX layer.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at it, I'm like, what? There's no life bars. And like Justin said, I'm looking at the title. The title means nothing. And I'm like, what? And then I look at the comments on like Twitter where they dropped it on their Twitter account. And it's just people writing question marks.
Yeah.
Going, what is this? And we still don't know.
Just about matches Arika's utilization of marketing tease techniques back to like the April Fool's reveal of them making joke, Fighting EX layer. I hope it's called Fighting EX layer plus alpha.
Like,
I really hope.
Super good.
It'll probably be called EX2, Fighting Layer EX2.
Maybe.
But I think it's a sequel, right? I think it's just a sequel to EX.
But Terry's in it, so it's like that's weird. That's very rare where like a guest character makes a jump. Like it happens sometimes, doesn't happen all the time. So that was weird. When I was watching, I literally thought when they started doing more 3D movement stuff, I'm like, is this a mod? Is this like an extra mode being put into like the main game, like more 3D fighting? I don't know.
And they seemingly have either just defends or parries. They also have a cancel system now that uses some kind of resource that was allowing Alan to go from like a thing to a thing, almost like FADC style. The weird part about it is that Alan was doing everything and Terry was an idiot. So Terry was like CPU level 2 or something like that, and Alan was like like doing all this.
Why is it dragon?
Like all this. Why is it dragon? And I was like, damn, Alan's on some shit in this.
Yeah, he was doing a bunch of shit, and he was sidestepping and everything. I'm like, sidestep. There's air block now, and I'm like, what is happening? What is this game? And ultimately, when you watch the whole video at the end, it says like something Evo Japan 2023. So
another Evo Japan reveal.
Yeah, so I'm guessing it's either they're going to be a reveal or it's playable at Evo Japan 2023.
Considering it looks the way it does, which is still not very good, as much as I appreciate Fighting EX Layer's existence, it looks still like fundamentally the same game from a visual standpoint. So it made the most sense to me if this was like plus alpha, like not 2. Because I don't know.
It feels like a Street Fighter like EX to Street Fighter EX2. Yeah. In the same vein, like an Alpha 1 to an Alpha 2, kind of like that, where you can call it Fighting Layer EX plus Alpha or EX2 instead of not a completely new game, you know?
Didn't the Switch version have like a random subtitle like Volt or
it did.
Another dash. I think that's what
nuts and bolts.
Bolts and ball sacks.
So the funniest thing as we get Matt McMuscles back, the funniest thing about this is that this game like is in a weird spot right now because the best version of Fighting EX Layer Nuts and Bolts is on the Switch. And the Switch version has rollback. It's the most feature rich. They removed the majority of the Gogi bullshit that made the game kind of unfun. So
just removed it.
It's gone. Yeah,
it's an easy mode version.
The crazy armor stuff and all that stuff that really plagued the old game, I think is gone.
God, I should download it. I never played the Switch version.
So we never got that, I think, on the PlayStation or PC versions, much less the full rollback support and everything like that. I don't think it ever hit every platform. So we need like a centralized version of the game that has all of these features, that is maybe an updated version that has all this new crazy bullshit available on modern consoles. Like, let's just get that like on PS5 or whatnot, give it a resolution bump. I don't fucking know, but that would be great. That would get me to go back and play the game again, because to be honest, like this was a fighting game I'm going to play a couple of times and revisit every once in a while, because the Gogi stuff was so
it's complicated.
It was so interrupting of what I wanted to play the game. Like it felt me like I have to not play the game now. This dude has infinite armor. Oh joy.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Gogi was pretty much a less but not unobtrusive version of like Gems, right? Yes. Where it's like, okay, there's no gross monetization. I don't think there was. Was there DLC?
Only Terry was you had to buy everything else.
That's awesome. Okay, but so that's always what it seems. So it was like, okay, this is better, but I'd still rather not have this, or have a much more simplified, like less versions of this to deal with, because like I remember when I first played it at an Evo, I forget which one they revealed it, but it was when it was playable. And like, that was, I'd seen you there, Max, and I'm playing it. I'm like, this is really fun for like, this is what Max says is the honeymoon phase. I'm playing, I'm like, this is super fun. And then like when I actually got the game and like after a couple hours, like this is less fun now.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And when you're first exposed to it, you just want it to feel like a fighting game. Because you're just like, oh God, these guys haven't made a fighting game in forever. What's it going to feel like? And it's got this fun run shit. All the buttons and normals feel like combos, EX. Yeah. It's got some cool combos. You're like, shit, this is fun. And then you really start digging into the nitty gritty of like when the Gogi stuff activates and which one should I use? And everyone uses armor. And that did it. That was it. So that has been alleviated. They knew that was an issue, right? And they kind of solved it on the Switch version, from what I understand. So let's get a centralized version of the game that's available on all the systems, right? Re-release it again and add potentially more characters. That'd be crazy if they added more guest characters, because they added like everyone that was in the EX and fighting layer games from back in the day.
Like everyone that could.
They didn't add the shark.
I was about to say, where's the shark at?
They didn't add the shark. Okay, but Arika's kind of random. So because of this, we have the Switch version, we have the console version with PS5 on PC. That's the classic Fighting EX layer. You have the arcade version. You have the mobile version as well, and now you have this version. There's 5 versions of Fighting EX layer. So I don't know.
Xbox version. That never came into Xbox.
I don't know if there's. Xbox
I don't know if it did.
I don't think so.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm just interested to see this one. It seems like there's no Gogi system in this version that they're showing off right now. So it might be kind of like a fusion of the Switch version and the console version together, from what it seems like, with the addition of Sidestep.
Because I'm intrigued now. Like if that actually is all those things and adds in a few new characters and like new stages, like I'll fucking buy and play this.
Yeah,
I don't add the shark.
Yeah, they just need to add the shark.
For those who don't know, please check out Justin's video where he's just playing the original fighting layer, and the game forces you to fight animals at a night and all this stupid shit. That's what fighting games miss nowadays. You know,
it's so funny because
add a shark.
Because when I played Fighting Layer, they had like the codes unlock and you can like hack the game, and you could play as the shark. And then I posted like the clip and everything, and then Miharu-san is like, "You're not supposed to be able to do that."
Why would they crack the game?
Yeah, I know, it's funny, but yeah, I hope we see something really cool at Evo Japan with a lot of footage, because obviously Evo Japan will have Fighting EX Layer plus Alpha ish. And also alpha gameplay of Tekken 8 for the first time. Yeah. So and maybe more news, right? So that's just exciting.
And that's like a week away? When is it's a little bit more than a week away. It's at the beginning of March.
April.
I'm sorry, beginning of April. So hopefully by the time the next podcast rolls around, we'll have a full understanding of crazy Tekken 8 bullshit and how the game actually plays. Hopefully, because if they don't show off, like they have to show footage. Like we just need to see the game.
They have to,
with people fighting each other. That's all I want to see, man.
We're going to see the cell phone cameras of recordings.
That's fine. I'll take it.
This is Arika you're talking about. So no, they will not show you footage, but true. They'll shadow drop the game that week though.
This is true. And still not tell anybody about it.
I know it's always a secret, but the good thing is that Miharu-san loves Pokemon Go. So anytime I go to Japan, I'll just message him about Pokemon Go, and he'll let me come to the office. So I got you guys in the future, right? Don't worry.
Okay, just in case.
Arika's a funny company because they make a ton of stuff. They made Tetris 99. They made the Pac-Man 99 game. They have their hands in the pot. They're like the Japanese like Iron Galaxy, where they seemingly have their hands in the oven like everywhere, and all these like different port titles and stuff, and you just don't realize it.
They made those weird water exploration games, like the ones from under Capcom, like Everblue on the PS2.
Oh, really?
And then when like they wanted to continue making that, so then they made the Endless Ocean series for Nintendo on the Wii. Like the one that had like voice chat. Remember that shit?
That weird
They just make a lot of games then.
Yeah. They didn't just make fighting games, but I'm really glad they're still around. But at the same time, how are they still around?
Like that's why it was the weirdest thing in general in 2017 to see them making a fighting game of all things, where it's like, you guys haven't done this for like over 15 years, and then you're suddenly just doing it. Okay, cool.
Yeah, and we totally lacked like a B or like C+, B- style fighting game, like of that level. That's not indie and that's not a AAA fighting game. Here's something that's like right in the middle. And you're like, wow, that can happen still? That's exciting.
It's like games like the EX fighting layer games, even like Bloody Roar to a degree. These games that are like the middle of the road games that they have a big fan base, that can have a big fan base. It's just, you know, it's either all or nothing when it comes to these Japanese companies now.
It's so hard.
Yeah.
Right. So, but other trailers that came out, King of Fighters 15, they showed Kim Kapwan. They showed
very exciting. He looks awesome.
He looks so cool. It reminds me of like a mix of King of Fighters 2002 Kim with Neo Geo Battle Coliseum Kim. That's the vibe that I was getting.
He seemed to have a lot more in his kit than he usually does.
Yeah, for sure. So I like the fact that they gave him a lot of like moves that you normally don't see him do. Like obviously you have the little flip, the DP, but they changed his like kind of like dive kick move. They made like an older animation from 2002. They gave him kind of like an air version of the flip kick back again, which is really cool. And they even gave him like kind of like a homage from I think Fatal Fury Real Bout 2 Super. It's one of the old
the Phoenix.
The Phoenix one, yeah.
I forgot which version. That was from, I think that might have been from Real Bout 2 from what I remember, but it's from like an old classic, which is super sick.
But Jae Hoon also had that in Garo, one of his supers, like the best version of it had the Phoenix shooting up. Who the hell are they talking about during this trailer?
I think it's the. Oh, you talking about when they had him and Shingo had the conversation?
When they have these cutscenes, there's 3 instances where someone's like, "Oh, you've been training with the most Japanese thing in the world, that man." When they can never say who this guy's name is, all they can say is that man.
And then Shingo's like, "Is it that bad? Is it that bad?"
And he's like, "Yeah, he's really tough." And when the trailer is done, it's just done. It says like, you know, copyright SNK. It goes back to a cutscene of Kim talking like, I can't reveal who it is. I'm like, what? This better be the most mind-blowing thing ever. But it's just going to be maybe it's a guy from like Sports USA team.
No, isn't it that one character from 14?
The older dude.
Yeah, because isn't that Luong's like husband or boyfriend? I thought they were like together.
I never did. Maybe I don't
They're like,
remember.
You two should spend some time alone together at a sunny resort. That's what Kim tells Luong at
the end of the trailer.
Okay. But at the same time, like, if that's going to be the reveal, some new character from KOF 14, like, all right.
It might be King of Fire 14 character just because of the other 2 characters that were announced, right? Before Kim, they like, oh yeah, here's more King of Fighters 14 characters. So it seems like they're bringing back more King of Fighters 14 trailer. And then the trailer, at least Kim's trailer, really makes me think it's that character from King of Fighters 14. I forgot his name. Gon? Is it Gon?
Kwang?
Yeah, there's a lot.
Unfortunately, KOF 14, 14 newcomers though, not the easiest to remember.
Speaking of 14 newcomers, did you guys remember who the next character is for KOF 15 after Kim?
It's the
girl with the.
It's the girl. It's stupid
Marie?
face.
All of these are accurate.
Is it Marie?
It's Sylvie.
It's I gotta eat my hat, girl.
Paula. Yep.
Yeah, I was like disgusted. I'm gonna be honest. I was just like, come on. There's so many other cooler characters in King of Fighters history, lore.
But I just said it's really hard to remember KOF 14 newcomers. I will give her that. I will remember her forever. It's hard to, it's like going inside a bathroom and seeing a bunch of like multicolored vomit on the ground. It's hard to shake that visual, but she's there, But okay. I'm still confused about what this DLC roadmap is, where it's just like, here's a single character that's not part of the team.
That's weird.
Yeah.
I appreciate them doing something different, but at the same time, I got so used to like, here's the 3 team trailers, and then let's just, do something random, and I just like an explanation. Is like, will they make up their own team when it's all complete? I don't know.
I don't think so. But it could be because you obviously have Kim talking to Shingo. So it seems like they're friends at some accord that they might be teaming up together. I hope it still keeps a team format because obviously when you play through the game, you actually get like the little graphic of like what's the ending is and everything. And I think those graphics are really well done. So
they are.
Yeah, so I don't know if it's single, you kind of lose that, right? So
they're going to be part of a team, no team. Where
Team,
they
no
know where to
No
go.
team!
No team.
Team nothing.
How do you guys feel about Kim's look? Like his face?
I like it that they looks like he's like a mixture of the dude from like Gauro a little bit and like Ken. So they gave him Ken's costume, but I think his face, he looks a lot like he looks a lot like Kyo.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, is this Kyo? Because the hair and everything.
I honestly, when you have like these style graphics, like the only big differences between a lot of faces, especially when we're talking about SNK characters, they all got the Mel Gibson face. Yep. Like it continues into the graphic style a little bit.
Everyone's got the Clooney from Shinkiro's like early 2000s art. It's weird how I made this comparison when the game came out. I don't hate this game's art style at all. It's a huge jump over KOF 14. It looks way better than KOF 14. But it's got this like generic Fortnite anime look to it, where it's like if you were to give like Fortnite characters a Japanese influence, it's kind of like that. And it's still like everyone looks kind of samey in some ways, you know?
It's just when I think about classic SNK art styles, which are like these chunky pixels and almost like somewhat realistic compared to like Street Fighter, especially Street Fighter Alpha at the time, like KOFs, like how do you translate that? Like, and they just came up with something that's safe, that looks nice, but it's safe at the end of the day. And that's where you get that Fortnite sort of look to it. Yeah. But, you know, Kim looks like Kyo without like a headband, essentially. So
a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, I think it's just the way it is, but it's kind of hard. It's like King of Fighters 15 is such an amazing game, but I think you're definitely right, Max, where the identity, it's all the same. It seems like even the gameplay, it's like once you learn one character, you can easily know how to learn the second character and third character based off like the combos you learned from the first character.
For sure.
And even the trailer, they show you that, right? They show you level 1 super, level 2 super, climax. That's your end goal for like the last combo you do against a person. So they show that for every character.
Versus what we're seeing in Tekken 8, which is like, look at this crazy unique thing that only this character can do. It affects this or that. And yeah, I can't think of many SNK games that ever went that route.
And previously, Tekken 7 especially gets a little homogenous, right? Once you understand how the structure of a combo works, you just find out what that thing is for that character and you just execute, between the screw attack, the fill part of the combo, the wall combo. Like once you have it, it's kind of ingrained in your head. But it's all the other systems, like all the learning of what all the other characters do that will eventually open you up. That takes a long time, and that's kind of the same thing in KOF, right? KOF 15 neutral is a little wacky when you have to like jump back into it. And you're like, God damn, these characters are like flies on the wall. I can't touch anybody, and then you get used to it. And you're like, oh, this is fun. It really clicks.
Again, it all comes back to KI 2013. Every game steals from KI.
KI.
Here we are again. Here we are again.
All right. But like, okay, so obviously the next game, they showed it wasn't really reveal characters or anything, but it's more of developer matches. The developer matches of Street Fighter 6 have been so impressive. I loved watching it because you get to see so much more information that's been shown with these characters. So the first one that they showed was Zangief versus Marissa.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this was a little while ago. This is like the best matchup in the game, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was
great. The only thing about these trailers is that they're clearly it's almost wrestling where
it's definitely orchestrated.
They're definitely a bit orchestrated, but it's like there's no solution to that. The only thing I can think of is if they recorded like 6 matches between 2 devs and they just picked the best one. I'm like, this is actually the most exciting one, but I tend to not think that's how it was done. It was just like, you win this round, I win this round. Make sure to show your super, show I super. But at the end of the day, it's like whatever. You're seeing all this information on the characters and you're seeing almost everything that they can do. The only thing that we always lack is like seeing the critical art of one of the character's supers.
Yeah.
And you get to see one, but
it is the best way to do it, because what is the alternative? Let's get a couple of pro players to play Street Fighter 6 and they end in timeout. It's like you don't know, like the very early on when you're demoing things that people have never seen before, you do not want it in the hands of pro players. You need to demonstrate all the tools your characters have, because people are just going to rely on the tools from the previous game and use those because they work, and it never results in something that is like, oh, this is the way we need to show off the game. So I think this is the best way to do it. We haven't seen these characters doing anything really, so just show us how they function in a match and show us as much as you can,
because a competitive player is going to be competitive.
It's going to be time
show
over.
off.
Like, exactly.
Yeah. Like when Marvel 3 first came out.
Put out that trailer.
Yeah. No,
time over.
Yep. When Marvel 3 first came out, all the tournament matches were time over. And that's a really fast game, like that when you compare it to now.
Yeah. So it's not, but it's never been the ideal way to show off your fighting game at the start. Like maybe a little bit later after people have seen a whole bunch, like, for example, we're in the perfect spot right now where we actually want to see people that are good at Tekken play Tekken 8. Now we're there. We weren't there like a little while ago when we didn't even know what the hell was going on. If we didn't know how the heat stuff worked and anything like that, and you just get Tekken players to go play Tekken, what are they going to do? They're going to play it like it's Tekken 7. So you wouldn't get backdash. You wouldn't get any new shit. No new shit at all. So there's a right time for it, and it honestly is not right now for Street Fighter 6.
It's not in the promotion stage.
Exactly.
Like, that's not where you want that.
You're just going to see people just spam Drive Impact all day, and the other person can't get a hold of it.
Yeah,
but the developer matches, they've been doing good. Like this one in particular, They made me scared of Zangief. Zangief looks very, very scary in this game. He runs now. Why does he run?
He's got like this bear run.
Yeah.
What's scary to me is that all EX command grabs do an absolute absurd amount of damage. Mm-hmm. Like, getting grabbed in this game seems scary to me, because what does a command grab beat? It beats core system mechanics like parry. It beats core system mechanics like drive impact. You pretty much have to like jump or backdash, and that's about it.
Yep. And I think at least the good thing about it, I think they want to have command grabs do lots of damage, but you don't get a mix up afterwards.
Yeah, Deoki's gone.
So it's very like old school. It's very Alpha 3-ish. When Alpha 3 Zangief hits you with SPD, it does a chunk of damage, but you are sent full screen back, and then the grappler has to find its way to come back and grab you again.
That was their end game, Their end game was to get that grab.
Yeah, they didn't want no Street Fighter 4 Zangief where if he grabs you once, it's game over for you. Like, they don't want any of that.
And he grabs you again from this far away, you're like, bitch.
Yeah, they don't want that, right?
That was a rough era. Now that you bring it up again, I was like, playing that online, especially on Street Fighter 4 online.
One green hand later, he's up your ass. You're like, geez, man.
So they also showed off a lot of Zangief's new movesets. Like he has an air drop kick, which he never had before. And he jumps really high when he does it. So that's really cool.
It's like a super jump.
Yeah, it's like a super jump. And wall splats as well too. They gave him They gave him this Undertaker normal. You guys remember Undertaker when he hits you like this?
There's like this uppercut, chop.
Yeah, so Zangief has that as his normal that launches the opponent in the air. That's super sick. EX Lariat is completely new, never been in any Street Fighter game before. Don't know how it's going to be activated. I'm assuming 2 punches Lariats and maybe 3 punches is EX version now. I don't think you press all 6. There's no way.
Two punches is scary because that's EX moves.
Yeah. So I don't know how that's going to do. Yeah, I don't know how that's going to work. He doesn't have green hand, but he has green shit, so that's fine.
He does have green shit. Yeah, running green shit.
Running green shit. But they didn't show the one move that I was really curious about. It's the little stomp move that he has, kind of like Street Fighter EX.
Yeah, it looked like a target combo, right? Like from what we saw. Yeah. No, actually, the one I'm thinking of is like the stand strong, where he goes like chop, 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 and it's like, this looks like a target combo of some kind.
Yeah, that's a target combo. But I really want to know what that stomp is when he's just stomping you on the floor. That one looks really cool. Maybe it possibly could OTG. Who knows? I'm wishful thinking right here.
Wishful. Wishful, he says.
But like, let me ask a real question, Justin. You're saying wishful thinking, but do you want to play as Zangief? Like, are you down with that? Or is it like you're wishful just because you just want to see a character do cool stuff and that's it?
So I'll give you two answers for that. Right?
Okay,
I'm
ahead.
down to play Zangief just for, for like a video for people to see how Zangief is played, for the memes.
For the views.
Yeah, but I also love the direction of Street Fighter 6 characters. I actually made a tweet about it today. Like, it's really hard to say which character looks bad in this game based off the trailers and based off these matches. They all look like they have some type of tool to handle any type of bullshit. And I like the fact that you give more characters things to work with so they just don't suck. And I think that's what they're doing very well with Zangief. Because when they announced Zangief, I'm like, oh man, he's going to get zoned out by Guile. He's going to get zoned out by Dhalsim and everything like that. But they showed off how much tools that Zangief has that he could possibly fight those characters now. Yep. So it's I even though I don't like grapplers, I do appreciate when cool shit is added.
When you see fighting game design work. Yeah, okay.
There seems to be a conscious effort to give characters more tools in their kit than Street Fighter's ever had. Like there's more special moves. There's per capita. There's more system mechanics per capita than comparison to anything. Where it's like, damn, man, like they're really giving characters a lot of shit to do now. And are you going to see that stuff all the time? You're not, but is it situationally going to come up? Most likely. So you're going to see some cool ass, ridiculous, like mid kick counter that wins Evo or some shit. It's going to be great.
Has anyone talked about this or theorized? Does Zangief have like a gimmick? Like, like a lot of characters have a unique thing that they can do. Chun-Li has the stances. Yeah. Kimberly has the spray cans. Was there anything in the trailer that seemed like, oh, this is something Zangief can do that other characters can't? Or do you think there's not been enough information on that yet?
It might not be enough information, but if I had to guess, I think it's based off just big boy damage grabs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like nothing like Manon has this like Manal has this level up thing, or
the
wind Lily has like her wind power. Wind. I don't think there's any weird gimmick like that. Like Jamie with his drinking, nothing.
Yeah.
Yet.
Okay.
Yeah. I think Zangief is just pure, like, to the point, if I grab you, it's going to take 40%. Like that's like his
like, that's my gimmick.
Yeah. That's my gimmick. I do lots of damage, right?
His gimmick is robbery.
Yeah, it's robbery. Like Marissa also doesn't have like one of those like things where she gets like a buff or anything.
She does.
I thought she did have something.
She has a stance cancel where it goes.
Oh, that's right.
And she cancels from stance like into things. She does like this, and you can cancel this stance into stuff. So she does have like a weird gimmick.
I bet you that's got some name like Roman Phalanx or something.
Maybe something from 300.
Yeah.
It's a Sparta kick or something, right? Because she has a Sparta kick.
I do have to say, as cool as she is, and I'll definitely play as her. When I first saw her, I was like, yes, another grappler. But she's not. She's a striker.
Yeah, like a bruiser, right?
Which is fine too. It's just that right now the game is still lacking any other type of unless my memory is escaping me, like maybe Honda, but an actual grappler to go toe to toe with Zangief.
It's only Zangief and Honda as like the big boy grapplers, and then you have the hybrid grapplers like Lily and Manoa.
Yeah, Lily's got some stuff.
Right. So I don't think we have like a really like there's no Hugo yet or Abigail.
I just like I want Hagar as DLC so bad. Like they reveal that he's not dead or whatever it is. I know we've probably talked about this before. I'll talk about it again. I'm sorry, but I'm just like it's been so long.
What for sure? Maybe year 2. We're going to have a complete Final Fight DLC roadmap like they had in the previous game.
Hagar was an MVCI, Matt. You got.
That's not a Street Fighter game.
You got 2 Hagars in the past 10 years. You're good.
Literally not a Street Fighter game.
So Honda and Lily. I mean, that was the most recent developer match, and Honda. I felt like he played the same. Like you can expect that.
Yeah, but Honda has this pray to God thing in
praise the sun.
Yeah, in Street Fighter 5 as well, right?
No,
he doesn't. Okay, so there. That was his buff in 6, where he like, and he gets graced from God, and now he can do more combos.
So he has a V skill that gives him the same buff that he has in Street Fighter 6, which gives him the opportunity to combo after 100 hand slap.
Yeah.
So that's what they gave him in Street Fighter 6, but he just praised the sun and he gets 100 hand slap.
Gotcha.
In general, which is pretty funny. I like the fact that they gave him like the old school Street Fighter 4 like gimmick where he did like target combo and before the stomp hits you, cancel the command grab.
Yeah.
To me, I was like, oh, that's Mike Ross right there, right? That's definitely that's
and
Mike
I think
Ross.
that
classic Mike.
That command normal was like down forward heavy kick or something like that, where it's like
down forward heavy
and he's
kick.
gonna smash you with his nuts, and then he Akara cancels it into command Ojo throw.
Yeah, that was pretty sick. It was really cool. But they really went hard with the sumo. I think like the
sumo
vibe.
references. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's his best super he's ever had.
Oh my god, yeah, the fire ring
is so cool. Like that is like Max or I think all of us have talked about before. That's like a developer thinking, how can we make something visually cool and different? That's not like the most violent or impactful or whatever you're trying to do. It's like, what do we can't just have Honda headbutting people again or just doing 100 hand slaps again. So what is he's a sumo wrestler. Do that. His entire game plan is getting you out of a ring.
Yeah. This is sort of lining up with that. We had a conversation about this a while ago about how characters and their nationalities and what they're representing is a bit more infused into their personalities and gameplay and movesets now than it ever has been before. Where it's like even E Honda to a degree, like sumo wise, what was he doing that was really sumo wise? Very little things, you know. There was actually not a ton. Zangief being a wrestler did a few wrestling moves, obviously throughout his history of Street Fighter, but now he's doing way more. Now there's like way more like, you know, like in the ring wrestling stuff that we're seeing.
Realistic wrestling moves.
Referential stuff and stuff like that. And now Honda is more of a sumo guy than he ever has been. You know, it feels like they're really hammering home on like their nationality and origins of every single character.
Justin, have you ever played that crazy sumo fighting game on the Genesis?
No, not yet. I know which one you're talking about.
You know which one I'm talking about? That thing's crazy. The special moves are hard to figure out, but once you do, it's like it's as hype as like a Marvel game. You know, it's crazy.
I gotta check it out. The one thing I loved about the Super is obviously the fire ring. I really do hope that they change it a little bit because, like, I'm gonna be honest, if somebody pulls me that fast and I caused fire on my feet, I need to take damage. That's all I gotta say. I need to take damage on my feet.
But something I said on Twitter was like, from a previous trailer, there's some video. There was some bit that showed Honda doing like a headbutt, and it was like this huge. It was Guile going, "Ooh!"
Yeah,
and that has to be his critical art. Now that that part of my brain like got hit. We were talking about this last time, where I was like, "Oh, well, Zangief's super was kind of not that great." You guys reminded me, well, there's probably an extra cool thing for the critical art. So when I saw Honda's, like, that was really cool. But I remember him doing a headbutt. So I guess when you do a critical art, he finishes you off with like one last hit.
That could be his level. That could be his level 2 because they didn't show. They didn't. They only showed that super like technically like in the correct way. The other one we don't know if it's level 1 or level 2.
But it had like crazy camera angles though, which level 2s don't always have.
Yeah.
Some of them have. Cammy's like the 1.
Yeah, Cammy
Luke has it too. Luke has a slow-mo with his level 2 with the punch.
Yeah.
As well too. So it could be. Maybe, who knows?
We also got to see Marissa's actual critical art, which is like the Take My Love version of the super, which looked great.
Which looks like a dildo on the thing. Yeah,
it did. It looked like a weird thing.
That's fine that she imprints a dick on your face. What's wrong with that?
That's fine too. That's FGC. That's FGC though.
And Lily's was the goofy version of her super where she like stumbles around. I thought was the non-critical art, but it actually is the critical art where she like you know,
so that makes sense now.
And
though.
the powerful one where she's like, "You're gonna die, motherfucker!" Like that one is her regular level 3.
Yeah, in midair she just says "forgive me," and then you know she's gonna get annihilated.
Die, motherfucker.
How'd you feel about Lily?
Better. You know, I felt like she was
last time,
but none of us are feeling her.
Yeah.
I think
I was feeling her. I just wanted to see more, and
you
like
see more. Yeah,
she is cool. I like the Talon win thing. You know, it's been a while since Talum, the days of Talum and Soul Calibur. And yeah, I like her personality and all that, but it's like, I definitely still think I need to go hands-on before I can say, is this a character I actually want to play? But, you know, we'll see.
No, it makes sense.
I feel like, yeah, we needed to see more gameplay. She's definitely looking a bit more interesting and T-Hawkish and in very like 1/3 form. But she's definitely got some great pokes, like really good pokes with command grab stuff, which is a different take on a command grab character, most likely.
Yeah, even her command grab, like once she command grabs you, it sends you full screen. So it's kind of like the direction with all command grabs. If you get grabbed, you're gonna be full screen because you did too much damage, type of thing. One thing I see about Lily, we saw her level 1. She has the kind of like the Rufus Ultra number 2, where she just goes into tornado.
Yeah,
and we saw her level 3. We haven't seen her level 2. I'm hoping her level 2 is an air super. Maybe make it a little different. Cool. Yeah, it'd be kind of cool, like a Condor dive super and everything like that. So I think that'll be pretty cool. But obviously the most interesting thing is probably the wind buff, which actually turned her into a gorilla. It turned her into a gorilla. I saw the most unga bunga gameplay ever when she put those wind moves on herself.
Yeah, I'm still kind of confused what the wind buff was doing.
Yeah, I mean so.
Okay, so they have Condor. She has the Condor Spire, right?
Right.
The wind moves gives her plus frames on her Condor Spire. So instead of one hit, it does like 4 hits. So like on point blank. So if she does it on point blank, it seems like she's still plus frames, because there was a sequence where she did that to Honda and Honda lost afterwards.
Yeah, it looked like she was either like neutral or able to hit buttons after, which is plus. So that's, you know, she's got safe on block, if not plus on block, you know, advancing special moves. That's pretty good.
That's very, very good. And it's also 4 hits. So that means you can't drive impact that on reaction.
Oh, good point. Yeah.
Yeah, so you actually
can wild parry it.
That. You could try wild parry it maybe, but that's kind of what they showed. But yeah, she's definitely a lot more interesting. Yeah, I just kind of want to see more. I hope we see a Dawson trailer next time.
We never got one.
We never got one.
They might just do another developer match with
Dawson JP. Probably Dawson JP or DJ JP.
We got Blanca. Yeah, Blanca was fighting JP in a trailer like a few months ago or something. So we got Blanca. I think Dalsum is like the last character that we have really not seen anything on. And who the hell would he be fighting? I don't know.
But yeah, like maybe like a Dalsum versus Cammy trailer.
That'd be great.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah. Actually,
have we seen Cammy in a full match yet?
No,
we haven't.
Not a full match.
Oh shit, Dalsum versus Cammy it is. There you go.
Yeah, not a full match. Yeah. So
finally we will know these two hated rivals.
These two hated rivals.
We're gonna find out who's the hottest in the Dalsum versus Cammy match.
Yeah,
and it's gonna be Dalsum. Clearly.
Dalsum's like, I fight for peace, and the Cammy's like, didn't you have like a necklace of children's skulls at some point? And he's like, we don't talk about that.
We don't talk
Doesn't
about
matter what I said on Twitter 10 years ago.
Those were shrunken heads, man. Oh, we really don't talk about that, actually.
But then we also have Guilty Gear. Guilty Gear showed Bedman
Bedman?
Why is this real? Why are people confused? Like, I actually did not see this trailer.
Oh, you didn't see this trailer.
What are you confused about? Let us educate you.
Because it seemed like everyone didn't know what the hell was happening. Like, is this Bedman? Are they confirming it's a character?
I was confused too.
Okay,
I'm still confused.
Okay, let me explain it.
That's what I mean.
So Bedman, it looks like 2 characters now, right? Where in Guilty Gear Xrd, we know that Bedman was attached to the bed. And the bed was like an application of his spirit/body dream state. Okay, got it. So Bedman, visually the man, gone. Don't see Bedman anymore. But now there's a little girl. Now there's a little girl and bed. You don't control the little girl at all. She just follows you around like BB Hood's dog.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The Bedman is in the bed. The guy became the bed. So the bed is like protecting the little girl like it's Donovan from fucking Darkstalkers or some shit, right? And that's how Bedman works. So now there's moments where the girl is off screen completely or holding on to the girl and trying to protect her and shit. So Bedman became the fucking bed, man.
I guess. Yeah, I mean, it's still confusing because the title is Bedman ? That's the name of the character.
Right, because you don't see Bedman anymore. You don't see him. Is he there? Like, he's in the bed. He became the goddamn bed, man.
So this is Arxis being the most Arxis that Arxis could ever Arxis.
No, that's not true. I said the same thing, Matt, and I was like, this is the weirdest goddamn Guilty Gear character ever. And then somebody showed me a giant amalgamous dog teeth creature from Guilty Gear Isuka. And I was like, what
that's why I don't know.
Fuck am I looking at? It was a boss only in Guilty Gear Isuka. It looked like a giant mound of hair and teeth and eyes and shit. And it
what was it called?
Soccer balls? I don't know.
Because I can't search for giant eyeball thing from Guilty Gear Asuka.
Okay, Leo Palden. I want you to look up Leo Palden, exactly as it sounds. Leo Palden. This is for the editor as well. This is I'm like, this Bedman's the weirdest Guilty Gear character ever. And my chat was like, no, that's Leo Palden. I'm like, what the hell?
This is a Berserk monster. It's from Berserk.
It's just an amalgamation of teeth and hair.
Is he related to Leo Whitefang?
No, look at it. You have to look it up. It's a dog with a sex mask. Combining a giant teeth and hair animal. Like, it's the weirdest shit ever. And this is actually a Guilty Gear boss.
So there's a piece of art that shows it's like a big shark monster golem with his mouth closed, and he's like petting the dog on his lap. And there's also like an Elden Ring knight. And they're all inside the mouth together. That's how he fights.
I didn't even see the Elden Ring knight. That's new to me.
There's like a little knight.
There's an Elden Ring guy back there.
Who's piloting the creature.
Wait, what's his name? Leo Baldwin?
Leo Paldon. Leopaldon. And if you want, Bedman's the weirdest Guilty Gear character, the answer is no.
The answer is now no.
No. Bedman is tame by comparison to this shit.
Bedman is the Ryu of Guilty Gear now.
Yeah, you're right. I found an image of him with his mouth closed. The shark thing. It's a shark with like fuzz pants. It's the weirdest shit in the world, dude. I'm like, what the fuck? They got too wild. Someone needs to put a chain and collar on these Guilty Gear devs. They don't know what the fuck. They got too much freedom.
This sounds like thing with fuzz pants.
This sounds like some Full Metal Alchemist, like
it looks like it.
No, man, it's
go wrong.
Shit.
You know what I'm talking about? It's like one of those things. But
because Berserk monsters always have their mouths open. They always got these like lecherous stares, and that's what this thing is. Big Berserk vibe.
So the next character in Guilty Gear Strive is going to be Leo Palden. Get ready.
They already put what was that? The tank in that one game.
Blitz tank. Yeah.
They said they already had that, so might as well, right?
I think this is weirder. Put one of the vehicles, some battle construction vehicles, into Guilty Gear now. Why? Might as well. Put the shark into fighting EX Lair.
Fuck it.
Yeah, I'm down for that.
I was saying that Bedman's definitely a weird character. Like this reminds me of like, and not like it looks bad visually, but some of the old 2D Arxis games have some visual garbage characters where it's like, what are they doing? Like, I can't even, and the best example of that is Arakune from Blaze Blue.
Yeah.
Where it's like, it's just visually like, what am I even looking at? What am I getting hit by, bro? Like, what is going on? And that's what Bedman kind of reminds me of. And I made the comparison where it's like, Bedman looks like the Daytona car from Fighting Megamix, like, but just more animated, right? And chat's like, wow, it does look pretty similar. So I made a bet. I was like, hey, if somebody mods in the Hornet from Daytona USA over Bedman's body and he just has his wheels and he's coming out, I will fucking 100% play that character. I will 100% see if he's my shit, that somebody can mod that in.
It's funny because you're not far off, because watching the trailer and comparing it to old Bedman, he was able to rewind time and like fast forward time. That was like his gimmick in Rev 2. This one is definitely more like attack, brawler, bruiser style. Yeah, didn't really have any crazy like old Rev 2 stuff, but that's what it seems like their Arxis is doing with like kind of like old Guilty
Gear. Focus the characters into one thing instead of a bunch of things.
Yeah, it's kind of like Testament. Testament had the succubus system in Strive, and all the traps that
invisible
Testament used
traps
to do is all gone, right? So they're recreating these new characters, and
Man,
now we have Bedman, question mark.
What if the sleepy pillow kid from KOF teamed up with Bedman inside the bed?
Damn.
That team ends the world.
Matt just made the worst thing. Thank you, Matt. Thank you for like the worst, greatest fighting game character ever is the sleepy boy from KOF with the sleepy boy from Guilty Gear. Thank you, Matt.
It's literally why I'm here to do these things. I was just thinking like Bedman, there's no actual relationship with sleep there other than a bed is there. So you combine the two, they make a full character finally. Or Arxis can make like an April Fool's game called The Freaks Only. Oops, all freaks, and it's all their freakiest characters.
All freaks.
Only them.
Bio freaks the game. Oops, all freaks.
Oops, all freaks. We also have DNF Spectre. It's just like a short trailer that they showed off.
That stuff is exciting. I don't know about you guys or what most people feel about DNF Duel, but not just Spectre, because she does look cool. She's like, we're just gonna put Virgil and Hitman into one character. I'm like, no. It's technically Hitman and Spencer had a baby, and it became news because she has a grappling hook that acts just like Spencer in Marvel 3. I'm like, what the hell? But that isn't the exciting part. The exciting part is that, we have years of content and updates planned for DNF Duel. We're adding systems. We're adding new different awakenings per character, multiple ways to get into those awakenings. I'm like, holy shit, they're going ham on this motherfucker.
Because I've seen some people complain about this when roadmaps are released, and I get it, but at the same time, it's a fighting game. It's how fighting games are made now. But like they had such a long delay, like we've talked about in previous episodes.
It's weird.
Like what's happening with DNF Duel. But like I also saw like one or two people, and I kind of like, that's interesting. It's like let the game sit for a while, and don't immediately assault people with here's the roadmap, here's blah 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 blah. And like some people kind of find that a little bit refreshing. I see both sides of it.
Yeah,
but at the same time, is this still too little, too late for DNF Duel, or can it like gain more traction again?
I don't think that even adding these updates in the timely fashion they was going to be the defining element of making DNF Duel the premium fighting game. That was just never going to happen, right? Even if these things happened within a month to 2 months after the game came out, people already made their decision whether or not they loved the game or not. And it was kind of clear that this was not a game that was going to market towards the West like a ton. You're kind of expecting like Blaze Blue levels of like impressions and popularity. If not, that's the game's legacy as hell now. So like let's say Blaze Blue Calamity, like the first one. That's the kind of audience you were trying to grab. Like maybe 100,000 to 200,000 people maximum.
That's the right number. Yeah.
So I'm kind of like they would have gotten their audience. People have already made their decisions on the game. I really enjoy it. I think it's always something that I can go back and play because it's got crazy characters, and it does things like an early 2000s fighting game, including its roadmap, including like how they're updating it, So I don't mind it. Once again, people have made their minds up, but I'm super stoked, man. Like this sounds like they're going to give characters even more wild shit. They're probably going to give characters even more mobility. They're adding new systems in there outside of the things we just talked about. I'm super down.
I hope it works out, just because like I guess if I'm looking at it from an FGC perspective, it's not an Evo, so that really hurts your, I would say,
exposure,
the exposure game, or getting people to play the game, because that means all the other tournaments, they might not run DNF Duel or put a lot of effort into running DNF Duel.
Sure.
So that's like the hard part. So I don't want it to be like a Discord game, right?
It already is, bro.
Yeah,
it already is, and that's fine. That's 99% of the fighting games that are out there. They're Discord games, and that's completely fine. It doesn't need to be anything more than it is. Is there a chance it'll like evolve and turn into this hyper crazy fighting game that's actually super fun? Will it eventually get to like the accent core plus R, part of it? I think it will. I think if it eventually survives long enough, it'll turn into something that is, have you played DNF like over the past year? It's really fun now. Like, wait a minute, isn't that just Swift Master and, you know, Samurai Dude whooping my ass? And like, no, it's way different now. It might end up turning into something like that over time.
Yeah, if Grand Blue can do it during the pandemic, then yeah, I would say DNF can do it as well.
Perfect example.
Right. So, and then at the last two, we have Dragon Ball, the Dragon Ball Finals. They announced a final patch because the final patch was supposed to be the final patch. And now we have a final patch for this year. And then also an announcement that rollback beta will come out during spring.
Which is like now.
Yeah, which is technically now, but it might be late spring because you know how when
it's like now until like spring, late June or something.
Yeah, late June.
Our rollback patch is coming out on June 2nd. Luckily, nothing else is coming out on that day.
June 2nd. Imagine. It better come out in May at least.
That's Capcom getting the one up on Arxis after Arxis got the one up on Capcom with DBZ versus Marvel Infinite.
This again is really great news. Like I know like Justin and at least Justin hasn't played a lot of DBFC and Matt has played probably a bit, but I've put quite a bit of time into that game and checked out multiple seasons and came back to the game and kind of fell in love with it all over again. So I'm insanely excited because the meta and the meta characters have really been figured out because the game's been out for 5-ish years now. So that potential last patch could be a big shakeup, which would be very fun because once again, Dragon Ball has kind of been Dragon Ball for the past couple years now. So it would be great to see how much are they going to change the transformation characters or the Itos? How much are they going to change Android 21 lab coat? Like these characters dominate the game, and it was pretty clear from, you know, the latest world finals. Almost just as exciting as the netcode like follow up and announcement was an actual new patch. Like nobody thought that was coming.
Yeah, it's supposed to be the final patch last year, but they said, no, we'll give you the final patch this year.
Yeah.
Right. So definitely excited just because I do want to play the game, and like I tried it in delay base and it was just, I couldn't do it. So I want to try it in rollback because the combos are cool. I love doing combos in general. So the game has lots of combos. And
highly recommend you play. It's a huge synergy game. If you want like the Marvel versus Capcom character in the game, you play Super Baby 2. Super Baby 2 is insanely fun.
No,
stupid
character. I've seen the loops.
It's his favorite character from Final Bout. He loves Super Baby. I love
Super Baby. He's cool. Shut up. He's cool. I highly recommend him. He's like the MVC2 character of the game.
Okay. Yeah. So that's exciting news for Dragon Ball. And then we have the last one that I was really surprised that they're doing it. They're bringing it back. The trailer was very nostalgic as well. Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 4.
Is that what it's actually called?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it's just maybe Dragon Ball Z Tenkaichi 4. I don't know if they're putting the Budokai in there like the previous games, but the previous game was Budokai Tenkaichi 3.
Yeah.
Because when I first saw the trailer, I don't know about you guys, but I'm like, oh, a cool remaster or like a collection. It took me a while until people started clarifying, like, it's not. It's a whole new game.
It's a whole new game. And we're not 100% convinced on this because they haven't actually had information come out probably at E3. But 99% it's made by the Jump Force devs.
Those guys need to be doing something. There needs to be some money to be made there.
They've been, and you would say that I had a big conversation with my chat about this of like, why is everyone so excited for this game? And like, what is the thing that's doing it? It was technically the Jump Force devs that made the previous one, Tenkaichi 3. This is back in like the PS2 era, right?
Yeah, like late PS2.
They merged with another company. So when they made follow-up games that were after this, they essentially were making games like the J-Stars games and Jump Force. So these were the results of it. So everyone's like, oh, but it's going to be the same devs as Tenkaichi 3. It's like, technically that is the Jump Force devs. So
that era, like when it gets past Budokai 3, I get so mixed up with like which game is what in what order.
Oh, yeah.
It's like then they went back and made an old PS2 game once the 360 and PS3 versions were out. They made like World Tour, or not World Tour. It had a specific name, like World in the title. I was like, what? It's like a 2007.
Oh, nuts and bolts.
Yes, that's.
Olsen Ballsack.
I don't even know why that's funny. I just don't even know why at this point. It's just stupid.
And I had the chat like educate me, because what is the thing that got anybody like in this podcast interested in like Dragon Ball Fighters, especially outside of it just being Dragon Ball? It was the fact that Arc System Works was making a Marvel vs. Capcom game with Dragon Ball characters. Like that's like the biggest, like, holy shit. To anybody that's like a fighting game fan, that's like the biggest, like, holy goddamn, everybody's ears perked up, you know?
And so like the real hood shit, if you knew, is like, before it was announced, Dragon Ball Z Fighters, like Arxis basically made the proto DBZ Fighters on the 3DS, like Extreme Butoden or something. Yeah. And like, while not like, you know, an amazing game or whatever, like it was still like really impressive in terms of sprite work and all that.
The bones
like imagine
were there.
The bones were there. Imagine if they had a bigger budget on, like, you know, more powerful consoles, and that thing happened. Big ups to Guile Windquote for that video.
We got the thing that we've been asking for like 25 years, since the 90s. What's like, can we get a Capcom style Dragon Ball fighting game? You know, is that possible? We can get just like a 2D Capcom-y kind of style Dragon Ball, and that was Dragon Ball Fighters, right? Yeah. So this game, I had to go look up footage of it, because I was just like, so what does Tenkaichi 3 even play like? And it's wild. It's like the first big one that's over the right shoulder of a character, and it's just zooming and zipping and zapping. And I'm like, okay, so what's the gameplay like? Oh, it's a mash square kind of game. I'm like, okay. So it's a little... I'm like, so this isn't really a game that people are going to be excited competitively about. People are like, oh, hell no.
That's very casual.
Everybody was like, oh, hell no.
It skews more towards arena fighter, where it's like, this is fun and there's a spectacle to it, but, you know, it's not. And it's no DBZ Super.
Exactly. And this is the part where I started to ask more questions, where I was like, so what is the thing that people really am looking forward to the new one? So I looked at the roster. And in the PS2
100
era,
characters, right?
Yes, in the PS2 era of Tenkaichi 3, there was 100 plus characters to choose from. There was 18,000. I'm sorry, there was literally
Gokus.
like 19 Gokus and 18 Vegetas, including Vegeta's fucking dad. So there is
fucking
King Vegeta.
King Vegeta.
Yes.
Yeah, they got jobbers in there.
There is so many, and it's just like copy and paste assets, right? Like little differences between the few. Okay, I'm like, all right. So this is one of the things that people are so excited about. And they're like, yeah, this game was fucking amazing. Look at all those characters. I'm like, I'm starting to get it. So then I asked the question, if this game comes out with 30 characters, are you going to buy it? And so many people are like, fuck no, fuck you. Fuck you. Like aggressive, like super. And you start to realize what made Tenkaichi 4 so popular. And I'm like, Tenkaichi 3, if 4 has the crazy whippy zippy gameplay, like it's impossible to keep a track of what the fuck is going on in Tenkaichi 3 when characters are just all over the place, man. I'm like, this is nuts. There's no way in a modern game they're going to allow that shit. There's no way.
No, you're right, but at the same time, if the gameplay is very like copy and paste, like, yeah, this character gets like their one unique super, but they're all the same, then maybe they would have a big roster, probably not 100, maybe, but I could see like 50.
But
if anyone complains about a 50 character roster at launch, I know that we just said they had 100 plus, but in terms of modern game making, like, yeah, it doesn't happen. Plus, that was 4 sequels.
Yes,
leading up
so
to
many
it.
characters.
Or
There's so many characters now.
So
I only beg the question because making an actual 4K model of a character will cost millions of dollars. So just getting from like just the point of like, we need 17 Gokus and they all have different animations and are not all completely different, but mostly different animations and some different supers and stuff like that is going to be a big ask. I don't know if that's going to, if a modern day Jump Force dev made game is going to be able to suffice the demands that I think a lot of people are. All I'm trying to say is that I think people are expecting a lot of Tenkaichi 4 to match what they felt about Tenkaichi 3. And I don't know if it's going to live up to that. I think you have to temper your expectations.
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, I looked at like the launch roster for Jump Force. So there was 40 playable characters from 16 series with 14 additional characters available as DLC.
Was it 40 at launch or in the end? Because it got a shit ton of DLC.
It said launch at launch. 40 was launch and then add 14 more for DLC. So it's 54 characters.
That's a lot.
Good.
Yeah, but Tenkaichi 4 could be like, oh, we'll have 40 launch and everything else DLC.
And like for me, if someone does to go, where you buy this Tenkaichi 4, I'm like, yeah, probably not. But then they go, well, it has Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, then I will absolutely buy it. Oh, they also have Talpion, the Link character from like the 13th movie.
The movie?
Yes, I will absolutely buy this.
The Chrono Trigger character?
Yeah, he's just Chrono, just with like a mohawk or something. I forget what he had, but like that was so overt. Like it's just Chrono / Link or whatever. If you put these characters, if you put Omega Shenron, you put GT in there, I'm gonna fucking buy the shit out of that. That's how lame I am.
That's how lame I am.